We'll go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to call on this year's co-chair, and proud to serve with Representative Pittman. If you'd open us with a word of prayer, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Let us bow. Lord, we just say yay and amen. We thank you for this day. We thank you for this blessing. We thank you for our heritage and our culture. Thank you for allowing us to sit around this table and be safe, that we're here and that we're present and that we're doing your work as well as the people's work. We ask you to guide our minds, open our hearts, and steady our feet as we continue to bless the people. And with your name in our hearts, we ask this prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Representative. Welcome, Mr. Former Co-Chair. For those of you that don't know Senator Jett, we're pleased to have him with us today representing the Senate. And for those of you that don't know or weren't here when it occurred, as Representative Jett, he was instrumental in founding the Native American Caucus and getting it kicked off, and serving as a co-chair for several years. And we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Especially means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. Had the pleasure of serving with Senator Jett and serving on this caucus with him and on the national caucus also. Also, for those of you who don't know, I also had the privilege of serving on this caucus with Representative Pittman's mother when she was representative, and then on the national caucus also with her as on the board of directors. So welcome. We're going to have some updates today, cover a couple of the bills that are working their way through the system. You want to start off, Representative Walkie?
In the spirit of this being our first meeting, when you talk, will you introduce yourself just so that as we're recording, we have everyone's name, their district, where they're from, and their tribe affiliation? That would be helpful.
Thanks, Representative. Thank you, Co-Chair. I've just got to run here in a minute, but wanted to talk about Ida's law that's coming over on murder and missing Indigenous women. Senator Paul Rosino got that off of the floor yesterday, so it's coming over to the House side. I've signed on as the co-author, and so at that stage, obviously, I don't know which committee it'll be assigned to, but that's a bill that, just so that you all know, died last year as a result of COVID. It had passed through the House, and everybody was on board with where it was at. It was just a lack of time. So there ought not to be any issues with it this year. OSBI is on board. I think everything is going to be fine with it. If anybody has any questions or you hear of any rumors about issues with it, please come talk to myself or Senator Rosino. And then once we get it through committee, it'll be all hands on deck, and let's get it passed because it's an important issue, and it's an important issue to the tribes. So.
Just to piggyback off of what he said, I have the House version of the bill, so they asked us to run it on both sides. I have the House version, so it is assigned to Criminal Justice Committee with Representative Humphreys, and so we will be talking to him about getting that on the committee as well so that it can be heard. If you would like to be a co-author or co-sign on it, please just send an email to my office.
In piggybacking on that, this issue is so important to those of us that are members of a tribal nation and so important to the tribes. I'm sure they've been in contact with you, many of them. 5 civilized tribes got on board with the Cheyenne Arapahoes on this. Representative Pittman carried the House version. Representative Walkie and Senator Rosino carried the Senate version. Senator Montgomery and myself filed duplicate legislation on the Senate side. We wanted to make sure that this got heard, that we get it moved to the governor's desk as rapidly as possible this year and see some success with it. It's a great bill. And with that, we'll let Representative Pay speak of his legislation.
Well, thank you, Representative Luttrell, for the opportunity to come speak to the Native American Caucus today, and for everyone watching as well. So the bill that I have this session, it's House Bill 1790. It's the Casey Alert Act. It's based off of similar legislation that was filed last year, but like many bills, it did not go through because of the pandemic beginning in March of 2020. And so that was, in hindsight, a blessing in disguise because it gave us more opportunity and time to speak with law enforcement. So we brought OSBI, DPS, Sheriff's Association, Police Chiefs Association, even Secretary Jason Nelson got involved. So we're all having various Zoom meetings, in-person meetings talking about the legislation. And in our research, we discovered that Virginia had passed a very similar piece of legislation about what we intended to do. They call it theirs the Ashanti Alert Act. But basically, for any person who would be older to qualify for an Amber Alert or younger than to qualify for a Silver Alert, this would apply to them between 18 to 59 years of age. So this would be a critical asset in terms of addressing the missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis, to get the word out, to use the power of communication and coordination between law enforcement stakeholders to help family members find the missing loved one. It's proven to be very successful in Virginia. Congress actually passed federal legislation to provide a framework for any state who wishes to opt in to this type of alert system. And so we are calling it the Casey Alert Act in honor of Casey Russell. He went missing 5 years ago. He was 29 at the time. He is a member of the Cherokee Nation. And so the bill also includes components for tribal governments to be involved in the implementation of the bill, and then also for, in the alert that's issued, information on their tribal affiliation. And so it's a great piece of legislation. It passed this morning in Public Safety Committee with a bipartisan margin. It's got a bipartisan Senate author, Senator Michael Brooks, and so I'm hopeful that we can get it across the House a month from now, and then we can get on to the Senate and then get it through that process and onto the governor's desk. So really happy to work with all of you. Encourage you to sign on as co-authors, and then we'll go from there.
Actually, point of clarification, quick, because this came up the other day. So sorry, totally off topic, but just out of curiosity. So is Secretary Nelson still in that position?
So last I talked with him, he was interim public safety secretary. I don't know where he's at in the moment, but he's offered nonetheless just to help, and he was a former House member as well, so really valuable member of the team. Yeah.
Thank you, Representative Pay, for that update. Any of you that would like to sign on as co-authors of any of this legislation, you can contact my office, get you those bill numbers. Representative Walkey's office or Representative Pittman can get you steered in the right direction. Same thing, Shane, if you see something on the Senate side that needs to come to this caucus's attention, let us know, or anything that you feel like we need to support or sign on as Senate co-authors with the Senate on, we'll be glad to do that. Just let us know. I haven't been approached with any legislation by the tribes that they're asking us to oppose or to take a hard look at, or that they would rather not see. If you're approached by one of your tribes and something like that is mentioned, we certainly want to get that information out to the caucus and take a long, hard look at it. The tribes rely on us to be their voice down here, and in many parts of the country, many parts of the state, many tribes have felt like that they have been unrepresented or non-represented or not represented enough, and we certainly have given them a voice and an outreach for their concerns and their issues, which is what we're here for, not only to serve our constituents in our home district, but our fellow tribal citizens also. I appreciate you all being here today. Any questions or comments from anyone? We didn't get introductions. I'm Ken Luttrell, proud member of the Cherokee Nation. My co-chair
is Shtango. I am State Representative A.J. Pittman from House District 99. I am a Seminole Native American. I am from the Dosabarkis and Bird Clan. My Native family calls me Havisi Mujesi, which means new moon, and I am happy to serve as your Native American Vice Chair.
Colin Walkey, House District 87, member of the Cherokee Nation.
Daniel Pay, representative for House District 62, which covers West and South Lawton.
Eddie Dempsey, District 1, valued Oklahoma, Choctaw Nation.
Sometimes I call myself Senator Representative Shane Jett as a nod to the other side of the Capitol. I'm a state senator from Senate District 17. I represent Shawnee all the way up through Luther in Oklahoma County. I'm a member of the Cherokee tribe. In 2005, Representative Lisa Billy, a Chickasaw, Representative Paul Wesselhoff, a Potawatomi, and I, on a napkin, kind of started going through the list of the House members to see who was Native, and we ended up polling the House membership and found out we had 17 Native American citizens serving in the House, and so that's how this started. In 2005, 2006, it was rolling with bylaws. One of the things that we did to make sure that was longevity, so 10 years after I leave the House, it's still going strong because we made sure that there was a bipartisan chairmanship and that the caucus would never take a position without unanimous consent from all the members, because we wanted to make sure it was not a partisan organization, but an organization that was a conduit, as you said, to make sure that the tribal leaders and tribal citizens felt like they had a willing ear and access point to the legislative process. So I'm proud to be here as a state senator.
Mike Osborne. I represent House District 81, which is Central Edmond. I am a member of the Cherokee tribe, and I have noticed that when Representative Walke was in here, that we, as Cherokees, actually had the majority of voting block in this room. So you know, we're gonna use that at some point. Now I'm just I was up until last year the co-chair of this. Representative Walke and I split those duties, and I'm just happy to be here today to represent. So thank you very much for having us.
And I think in the Senate we have 5 Native Americans that I've identified. Myself, Cherokee, Chris Kidd, Chickasaw, Greg McCourtney is Choctaw, Lonnie Paxton is Choctaw, and Cody Rogers, just elected from Tulsa, is Cherokee. And he's also Governor Stitt, who's Cherokee. He's his senator. His home is in Cody Rogers' district. I thought that was interesting. So,
Well, we'll go ahead.
Thank you all for that. Thank you all for being here today. I'm sure that our attendance will pick up as the weather changes and the session progresses and our sponsors come in with issues that they want to present to us. We have been approached by former Representative Chelsea Branham, wants to come and do a presentation on some issues that she's working on. I believe some women's issues and minority issues that are will be important to this caucus too, as representing Native American tribes. So with that, that is all I have today.
Actually, there's one more bill. Representative Denise Brewer has a bill that is House Bill 1659. It is a requirement for racial, culture, and gender bias training for members every 2 years that will be hosted by the YWCA for free. And so she is trying to get that through, and she would like the support of the Native American Caucus.
So once again, thank you all for being here today. This is a short and sweet meeting, and also the first meeting that we have had a videographer here to do this for us. He's going to post this on YouTube, correct? YouTube, Facebook later today, and with a link that we can get out to all of you if you want to post it on your personal page. I know that some of our tribal members that could not be here from some of the tribes today are looking forward to that, to being kept in the loop and being aware of what this caucus is discussing and the issues that we're taking up. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you.